Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to start our discussion on portfolio optimization. And the packages that we're going to need is the Quant Mode, the Performance Analytics, Portfolio Analytics, and the QMAO package. Okay, I hope you have already loaded these packages. We have already installed this in the past, so you can just make use of library or just click it here in the packages section and type, for example, here QMAO and just click this. That's equivalent to loading the package. Okay, just make sure that all these packages are loaded, or you can make use of the Pacman Pacman's payload pack function. Okay, so when you're done, class, kindly please chat. So we're loading to our R these assets: IBM, Bank of America, Apple, etc., up to Standard and Poor's, data from 2016 January 1 until 2023 December 31. And the function that we're using is get symbols. We defined what tickers is. Okay, and then the start date and then the end date. The default is it will be loaded from Yahoo daily data, and auto data assign is equal to true. Okay, so when we run this, we'll now be able to see the XS objects that we downloaded from Yahoo. Okay. So last time we said that there are several ways for us to create an object that contains all the prices, whether it's adjusted or closing prices, open, high, lowest price, depends on our need. Okay? There are different ways to do that, but one of the easiest is to make use of QMAO's make price frame function. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to generate an object. Let's call it prices. Okay. So I want you to, anyway, you have a copy of the tickers. You can just copy it here. So we're going to use this. This is coming from QMAO package, make price frame. And what this will do is that it will create an object called prices containing the type of the data that you want. So for example, we can make it, let's make it closing. Okay, closing prices. So this is the syntax. Identify the assets from where we will be getting the data. We know there's already the our object from, which we used here when we did the get symbols. I mean the start. Okay, from is equal to start up to the ending, and then we prefer closing, and then na.omit is equal to true. Now, unfortunately, I don't know why, even if you write na.omit is equal to true, it will still generate the first na missing value. So what we do is just insert it anyway here, na.omit. Okay, so that automatically the first row, which will not have any okay, I'm sorry, this is a price, no? So there's no need for this because there will be no missing value because we're getting the prices. This is not the return. Okay, sorry about that. So this is totally unnecessary, yung na.omit. Maybe I'll just delete this. It's unnecessary because we're not computing for the returns. And computing for the returns will generate an NA value at the first row. But here, we're just extracting the prices. Okay, so let's create this. This is a, oops, I have an error here. It's my error here. already have the QMAO. I already loaded this. It's already loaded. And then where did we're creating this object prices from QMAO, make price frame. This is our tickers, comma, from the ending, prefer is closing, and then na.omit is equal to true. Where is my error here? Error in attribution, different prefer. Attribute on null. Sorry, wrong spelling. Close. Okay, run this. There you go. Okay, I made a mistake. It should not be closing, but rather close. Okay, so we now have this, right? These are our assets, and we were able to extract the closing prices of these assets from 2016-01-01 up to 2023, the last trading day of 2023, which is 12/29. We have 1,991, no, 2012 observations, and we have 11 assets here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Okay, let me pause for a while. Are you able to follow, class? Were you able to generate this object called prices? It should appear here in our data. This is our prices. So this is an object that contains all the closing prices of all our assets. So this is an efficient way to create that object, all the prices, instead of having to individually create an object for, let's say, IBM, get the closing prices for IBM, and do so for the other assets, and then merge them or as column bind them. Okay, so these are a lot faster. Okay, kindly feedback, please, if you were able to follow, class. If you were able to generate this object called prices. And if you view that, you should have this. Feedback, class, please. Waiting for your feedback, class. So we said that the QMAO package allows us to efficiently, fastly create an object out of the objects, assets that we have here. First, existing na dapat yung mga objects, no? They should already be loaded, the assets, and then make the price frame. That's why we're able to get the closing prices of these assets, because these assets are already existing. They have already been created. So kung wala pa yung assets class, hindi pa siya naka-define, hindi pa siya na-load, mag-error tayo sa make price frame. Alright? So you can also, instead of you can make use of the shortcut, make price frame, you can just use PF. Okay? And I'll remove the na.omit because these are just prices. These are not returns. So there will be no missing value yet. So this is the same. I just replaced the make price frame with a PF. You'll get the same answer. I just made use of a different object, price is 1. But you get the same answer, class. So you can just copy paste yung nasa taas and then replace the make price frame with PF. You get the same answer. Okay? Sometimes you might not need the price frame. You might not need the object having either the closing prices or the the adjusted prices. What you're interested more is, since let's say you're not going to make use of this prices object, so you just need the returns, okay? The returns of the assets. So we can create that. Okay, here I'm creating this object ret, and notice now we will need the na.omit. Since we're computing for the returns, we'll have the first row, since it does not have any prior value in this case, then that will be an NA term. Okay, a missing term, not applicable term. Okay, and the function is not make price frame, but rather make return frame. Okay, so everything is exactly the same. Okay, I'm going to use here close to be consistent with the above. Close. Okay, and then type is equal to continuous. Okay, you said that there's a difference between continuous returns and simple returns or arithmetic returns or discrete returns. Okay, uh, ang ang quick review lang class, ang the arithmetic or discrete or simple returns is defined as, and usually it's capitalized, no? R. R sub t is equal to the price at time t over the price at time t minus 1, and then minus 1. Okay? That's the difference. The quotient of price at time t over the price at time t minus 1, yung prior period, and then minus 1. This is your simple return, but for the continuous or the log returns, it's usually denoted by small r, r sub t for time series, and that's equal to, you get the log of your p sub t, price of time t over price of time t minus 1. Okay? So that's the difference. The continuous are log returns. Okay. All right. So I hope you have created. Okay, so my question dito, Josh, kindly share your question to everybody para alam nila yung question mo. And thank you for that question. Josh? Okay, so ang question ni Josh, paki-repeat yung paggamit ng na.omit. Okay, so in the first instance, hindi ko siya ginamit, no, na.omit, because this function will just extract the closing prices from these assets. So when we did this, we created this object prices, no? Okay, let me just show you. So prices siya, and this came from the kunyari class let's take a look at IBM. So si IBM here. This is IBM, and yung first date dito 2016-01-04, ang closing price ng IBM is 129.9713. Now, this is what we wanted to extract. Okay? So when we go to the prices object here, so ito si prices. So ano yung so it's January 4, 129.9713. If I go to prices here, IBM, 129.919713. Ito yun. Exactly the same. So it just extracted the closing prices of these assets. Okay. Now, kaya wala siyang zero dito kasi kinukuha lang naman niya, no? It's just getting the prices. Now, however, when we want to get the returns, okay, as discussed before, when we get the returns, class, so let me first just delete this. Okay. Notice here, we're not having an a.omit. If I run this, this one, Control Enter. And if I print this, ret, okay, sorry, here, ret for returns. Okay, notice that the first row is NA. Now, why is it NA class? Bakit siya NA? Kasi hindi natin makompute yung log returns for this day because it does not have any prior prior value uh, ng 2016. I mean, yeah, 2016. Kasi ang prior value nito hindi naman kasama sa ano natin sa data set, no? So that's why nag-NA siya dito kasi it cannot compute log of P sub T over P sub T minus 1 because January 4 does not have any previous value. Okay, so that's why I said that in this case, if you want to automatically delete the NA value, pwede natin lagyan ng NA to. In front, sorry. Can make it NA.omit. Open parenthesis here and ito close ko siya dito. Close parenthesis here to close our NA.omit. And if I run this, Control Enter, so we'll have this object ret again. Saan na si ret? Ito. And this time class, wala na yung NA.omit. Okay, it was deliberately omitted by R because we gave that code that any errors, any missing value should be omitted. Okay, so let's go back here. And we said that we can make use of this RF. This is equivalent to make return frame. All right, I also did the NA.omit here so that it will remove automatically the NA values at first. Okay, so this is ret1. If I run this, then we will have an object here under ret1. And then CV there. No more, no? Wala na. By the way, class, if you want this returns to be, let's say you want it to be in percentage form, then what you do is the RF function here, okay, before the NA.omit, you multiply it by 100. Okay, so this means that this is in percentage terms. In percent na lang. Okay, so if I run this, okay, look, ba? You compare ret1 with the ret1 kanina, this has been multiplied by 100. So this means this is 0.07%. This is negative 2.54%, thereabouts. Okay, so you can do that if you wish that the answer should be in percentage form. Okay, so let's now go to portfolio returns. Okay, so far, what we have done was to last time we we created an object containing the prices of the assets, and then we took the returns, just like what we did here, and the returns, okay, are individual returns. Now, if it's a portfolio, and so this is the returns of IBM, returns of Bank of America, etc. Okay, now how will it be if we have a portfolio itself? Okay, so let's say you have asset 1, asset 2, asset 3. And you're interested to get the returns of this portfolio of assets. So we'll now have an object called, as I said a while ago, it's small letter r. For simple returns, it's a big letter R. And this is equal to the weighted summation Okay. All right. So you'll have here the returns of asset one, asset two, asset three. Now, when we're talking of portfolio returns, we're talking of the returns of this full, all the assets as a whole, as combined. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, so I'll go back here and let's first create a portfolio of two assets. So let's use the first two assets in our object prices. So that's IBM and BAC. Okay, I mean from the returns. So I'm going to create an XTS object called IBM Bank of America RET. Okay, you may name it any way you want. And then I'm going to filter from the object RET, okay, which is what we did a while ago, and then include all the rows, but only the first two columns. Okay, and then let's view what that will give us. Okay, I'd like you to do this. I'll give you a few seconds, please, and tell me what object do you have for IBM BAC RET. Of course, you can name it any way you want. Okay, so if you're done with this one, class, kindly tell me, pakichat, what do you get? What will you get, class? Intel ba? Yung unang, yung una natin doon, Robert, was IBM, no? Pero okay lang kung Intel yung nasa una mo. Ito yung ano natin, tickers natin. IBM and then BAC. So if you're just getting the first two, okay, so that should be the log returns, continuous returns of IBM and BAC. Okay, I hope you got that, class, no? All right. Now for, as I said a while ago, for portfolio returns, okay, hindi ko pala nasulat to kanina, no? May formula yan, no? So the return of a portfolio is equal to, it's the sum. Okay. So the answer here, class, will be just one value lang tong return ng portfolio, no? Unlike yung kanina, yung returns ng mga asset, individual yon. So please understand that when you look at the returns of a portfolio, okay, uh, by date, no? By date, isang return yon. Okay, kasi ang gagawin natin doon, whatever the return of a portfolio of the asset at a particular day, multiply that by the weight of that asset. So to get the portfolio returns, class, you need the weight of the asset. So to simplify first the discussion, let's create a portfolio of IBM and Bank of America, and they share a 50-50. Okay, 50 yung weight. It's just like you have a portfolio of 1 million pesos, for example. 500 pesos of that is invested in IBM. 500 pesos, thousand, I mean, 500,000 is invested in Bank of America. So that's a 50-50 weight. All right. So going here, class, to, okay, here. So let's use 50-50. Okay. So here we're creating this object, IBM BAC. Port P stands for, well, that's just what I use here. PRET, portfolio ret. And then we're going to make use of performance analytics. So they have this function called return that portfolio. Okay. Uh, Before we used return that what class? Di ba yung return that calculate or calculate that calculate returns? Ito naman return that portfolio. So let's dito natin kunin sa help function. Okay, return that return that portfolio class here. Okay. So this is from performance analytics, and let's take a look at the syntax. Calculate the weighted returns for a portfolio of assets. Okay, so this is for time series. This function calculates the returns of a portfolio with the same periodicity of the returns data. Of course, they should be both daily, or they should be both weekly, or they should be both monthly, or whatever. Okay, so take a look at this. We're just going to start with the basic one. So return that portfolio, and then this is our object. Okay, this is the portfolio of returns, our IBM and BAC, and then weights. Okay, we can define what are the weights. Okay, and then later we're going to take a look at rebalancing. Okay, for now, let's take a look at the most simple one. Yung object lang, tapos i-define natin yung, we're going to define the weights. No? Okay, so this is how it goes. We're going to make use of the performance analytics package, and then the function is return that portfolio, and then the asset, the portfolio is IBM BAC ret, the one that we created a while ago, and the weights. Okay, actually we can write your weights is equal to WEIGHTS. Weights is equal to, concatenate natin si 0.5 at saka 0.5. Okay, and then let's view the answer. Okay, let's run this. Okay, IBM, I haven't run this, sorry. This one, I ran this first. And let me see if it's the correct one. Yeah, IBM and BAC. However, class, however, yung ret ko kanina, where am I? Kasi may 0 pa rin, ano? Sorry, I'm looking at the different file. So this one is my ret. And if I check my ret, wala na siyang NA, no? No more NA. And then I'm going to just get the first here, the first two. And if I view this, okay, so these are the first two columns, IBM at BAC. And then what I'm going to do is perform this one, return that portfolio with the weights at 0.5, 0.5, which means 50-50. Okay, if I run this, there you go, view. All right, what happened? Because you now have only one column. So what happened? How was this portfolio returns computed? If I go here, so it will be 50% of this plus 50% of this. So let's use the second one. This one. Copy this, Control C. I'll put it here in the console. Control V. Okay, and then I'll multiply this by times 0.5, and then add the other one times 0.5. Okay, so it's a weighted returns, 50% coming from IBM and 50% coming from BAC. Control enter, negative 0.013. This is the second day. So it's this one. Okay, sorry. Here. Where's that? Period. Here. This is, wait, this one. I got the second day. 132,784, 132,7, okay, and a bit of discrepancy because of I just copied the values from the returns from this one, and this is not really exact. Okay, that's why we're having some uh, discrepancies on the higher decimal levels. Okay, so let me pause for a while and ask you, class, if you were able to get this, you were able to create this object. This one. Kindly chat, please. I hope you can respond faster, class. Only one response. Let's wait for the others, please. You're waiting for the others. Okay. A few more seconds for the others. Six people have already left. Kanina 29 tayo. Okay. So I hope you got the portfolio returns. Okay. And once again, just to differentiate, ito class, return ng portfolio ng IBM to at saka BAC on January 5, 2016. This is a 50-50. 50-50 ratio for the returns, 50% IBM, 50% for BAC. Okay, so continuing on, class. Now, what if there's rebalancing? Okay, have you studied, have you discussed this in class, in your other subjects class, yung rebalancing? Paki-chat please, yes or no? Rebalancing, yes or no, class? Even a yes or no, class? Uh, I'm having difficulty requesting you to give a feedback. Yes or no lang, class, oh. Nagtatagal tayo.